Hi, Trudy. How are you? Oh, I think you're on
I'm
mute.
good. Yeah. I was
I'm
over typing away.
Are you ready for Christmas?
No, not at all. We don't have a tree up yet. How about you guys?
We got a tree up. I got to figure out something to get for my dad for Christmas, and then I'll be done.
Oh, wow.
He's just so hard to shop for.
I hear you. Yeah. So, Bridget, we have subcommittees that were divided out. Let me get to my notes a little bit so you can be thinking about it.
Okay.
We have training and support. So do we do trainings or brainstorming sessions, sandbox sessions, that type of thing, immediate and long-term support, as well as training? We have one more training session for agents that we can schedule. So that's one of the subcommittees. The other one is resources and templates. So do we create any type of how-to type materials? What is it that the agents are going to need? And then there is that template kind of discussion of, does that help? And I think under that templates would also be, do we approve? And I think that'll be something we discuss a little bit today as well. So do lessons and content, does it need to be approved? So, and that was kind of touched on in the last session. So, okay. Of which I have not modified and loaded to the team site like I need to. It's been one thing after another. So, do you have a preference on either one of those? And at this point, I think we are short on the training and support committee.
Well, I'll go there then.
But I do need to ask Amanda, I have her down as chair of that committee, but on the other committee. So I don't know if we want to do both. I guess we can, but anyway, yeah.
Training and support's fine with me.
Okay, great. All right, well, I have 4 o'clock. Yay. Oh. So good afternoon, everybody. This might be us. I think Andy Lance had a conflict this afternoon, and I got a text from Jen. She is in quarantine and is not feeling well. So I cannot read anything into that, but she will not be joining us today. So I told her that I really thought we might be able to go ahead and work through a few of the things, see if we can kind of get a little bit of a plan especially right before break, because I'm not sure if, I don't know if Jen will be back this week or not. So does that sound like a good plan? Is everybody okay with what we've got in Teams so far as an outline to take a look at?
Sounds good to me.
Thanks, Lynn.
It looks good. I had a question just about like the actual use of Nearpod in our programs, just if and when we have time for it today.
Sure.
It sounds good to me as well. I am driving from car rider pickup, so I am going to log on in about 10 minutes as soon as I get home, but I can listen right now.
Okay, that sounds good. Then we can take a look at a few things and see if you guys have, just right off the bat information about it. If we do need to reschedule, we can do that as well. So one of my first questions is, Amanda, when I went back through the recording, I have you listed under the resources and templates subcommittee, but chair of training and support. So is that right?
I know I was chairing the training and support, but I was not aware of the other one.
Okay. All right. So I just saw that in chat and it said I can, and I think you had your name and resources or something, or templates, which is different than training and support. Okay. And so Bridget's going to go on training support. So it'll be Amanda, Bridget, and Andy. And then resources and templates will be Lynn and Anna, and who am I missing? Because I had Lynn, Anna, and Amanda on that committee as well. So we may wind up, if Jennifer and I are going to be assigned, we could do that as well. Thanks, Bub. You are awesome. Peppermint milkshake from Chick-fil-A. The most favorite thing in the world. Okay, so I had a conversation with our rep, Ben. And when I was talking with him about user licenses, that's our first topic today, the question is adding everyone or adding those bit by bit who are going to use it. We have the 250 licenses that are defined in our contract, but when I asked him about it, and I need to confirm because I thought we had a school license, and he said, well, you are district, and as long as you don't go over by 100, I'm good. I went, okay. So it sounds like, I know the concern was to do the user license if we're giving it to agents and we have program assistants in other counties that are going to want to use it, and yet we've identified just the numbers for the agents. So I think I've only had 19 turn in using that, the survey. So the question is, do we go ahead and assign user IDs for all 4-H agents because it was purchased for 4-H agents, and we can go over some adding the program assistants who want to participate? Is that something that agents who even are not going to want to use it, is there going to be that kind of attitude of, well, it's mine, but I never got it. I'm supposed to have it, but I don't have it.
Trudy, I don't know that I would assign people usernames and passwords and everything if they are not going to use it. I mean, I would kind of rather people say, hey, I want this, because I mean, what's the point of giving out 100 usernames and letting everybody sign in if 55 of those people are not even using it? And there may be other people like ag agents or FCS agents even that help us with our programs that may be beneficial to let them use it.
Okay.
And I kind of wondered, could we not do it on a county basis like what we did with ICEV? Because like I know in my county, I'll be the one using it. Like my other agent, there's no way she's going to use it. at all. She barely knows how to work normal PowerPoint. So like, no.
Right.
At all. So, and she has no willingness to learn it. So like, okay, it's fine. It's whatever, but here we are. So like, there's no sense in paying for her to have a license. So if we had a county one, you know, like my program assistant may or may not, but like if we had a county one, that would be really cool. And because this kind of ties in a little bit with what my question was about actual use. I used it last week with my horse polo hippology team over Zoom, but it's being taught by a parent volunteer. So, I mean, like I made the Nearpod and stuff, but like I was flipping back and forth between her PowerPoint because she needed to be able to control it because she was the one teaching. And then interjecting with some of my little Nearpod activities because I'd talked to her about it beforehand, here and there to test them out. If we have volunteers that would like to use this, if we had it on a county login, is that an option?
I don't know. Not sure who would we ask and go through. I know that I don't think that's how Nearpod and others are structured, but for example, I have the TN4H net ID, and that, you know, we're using that as well. So, you know, logging right in. And so do we have county IDs? Do you know, Anna?
We don't, but we can get them. Like I just got a new net ID for my master gardeners because I'm a split agent. And so you can request like a departmental net ID like that for just about anything. It's a pretty simple process. So I also kind of have had the thought of, should I get one for Coffee County 4-H so that I don't have to be on all these Zoom meetings with my different teams. Not that I don't want to, but like my coaches are coaching it. Like I'm only there to open the meeting and because I'm the host.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something I've also thought about doing just for lots of reasons.
Right, right. And I know that the departmental net ID, you can do it as an email or as an account that you two-factor. We just had to go through that at the state office trying to decide which one to do. But because we need Vault for scholarships, we have to go through the two-factor and have it be not an email, but an actual departmental net ID.
Right, yeah.
Sorry, Anna.
You're okay. No, I was just gonna say, right, yeah. For Master Gardener, I just did the two-factor because I really just needed them to be able to do their own Zooms and stuff for when they have meetings amongst themselves. That was really kind of the whole premise. So, but yeah, there's options there too.
Trudy, are you looking at chat?
No, sorry.
Bridget posted that she likes the idea of county uses. And I was going to say, we use Google Classroom as one, like a county user. We have one login. We all use it. Anything that we are working on, we all put it on there. And that way, if the other agent or one of the program assistants says, hey, can you go in and edit this? I don't have to have them send it to me. I can just pull it up. And I honestly think that we would be just as well to do that with Nearpod. I mean, I think that would be a great idea.
Mm.
And Amanda said she likes it too. Sorry, I'm not trying to read the chat, but
no, I just pulled out the chat, to see it. Yeah, so that even as we have staff turnover, pretty much resolves itself.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, even the administrative assistant could have access to it so that everybody in the office has it. And if we have somebody leave, at least somebody knows what's going on with their county account.
That's a very good point.
Mm. How many counties do we think are out there that are actually doing that? Or are there certain counties that would want to do that and other agents that would just want to log in themselves?
Probably. There are probably both. I could see that. I know there are several in the Eastern region, and I know there are a couple in the Central region that share it. Brent Smith in Grundy County and I talked about it, and they were using one like county account. But there may be agents, that don't want to share, and I totally get that too. But at the same time, the option could be there for both.
Yeah, but I mean, like when the state office paid for our ICEV accounts, like we didn't get the option. It was just, hey, here's your login, and it works the same way for what is that? Whatever showware. When we log in our registering our kids for livestock shows, we have one login. It's like your county name is your username and something else or whatever, because that way anyone in my office can register them. I do it, but still, we weren't really given the option. So I'm saying people are used to it if we decide that that's what's best.
Yeah. What do you think next steps are on that?
I don't know if this is possible, but could the username and password be the same username and password for ICV? So it's easy to remember.
Well, I'm not sure. We were going to set up the SSO where, we would sign in just like we do Microsoft and then click over to Nearpod and you're automatically signed in. So you wouldn't have to do that, more for security purposes. But I guess that's a good question. I know there has been some question with the ICEV on violation of contract is not the right word, but if you're supposed to have individual users and you define it for a county where you have multiple users, is that an issue? You see what I'm saying? Like, should we be purchasing more licenses? But I mean, I would, as an ethical issue. So I don't know. That's a question. How did they get around that with ICEV? Do you know?
I have no idea. I just know, I wasn't involved in that back end process. I was just really happy when I got the email and they were like, we're paying for this for you. And I was like, sweet.
Right.
I do know how that started, Trudy.
Oh, good.
They started us out with 10 accounts and it was in our region, in the Eastern region.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to share. Like if I was to send it, and they told us not to send it out to kids, but if we wanted to share it with our FFA advisors or other 4-H agents, that we would all use that same ID for the fact that there were only 10 accounts. Now, we questioned as well, is that being kind of shady by not having an individual account? Everybody in this county is using it, but it's on one account. There was never any issue with it, it seemed. They said that it was fine, just to make sure that we used it ourselves and that if we were giving it out to people, to keep a record. From there, I think Justin, and correct me if I'm wrong, Trudy, but I think Justin looked into it and said, hey, let's get one for the whole state, for every county. So, we only have the county one as far as I know. Am I wrong? I mean, do we all have our own little account with them now?
I think it is county based.
Yeah.
Okay.
County.
Okay. That's what I was thinking.
Right. So, but I can ask, can Nearpod work county based is the question.
Yes.
So I'll ask Jen, and let me check with Jason Shoemaker. He kind of set stuff up for us for IT. That would be good. The next topic that we have is priority first content and strategy to build top needs. And so one of my kind of thoughts is, if we know what's coming up in the spring, what agents are using, what would be helpful that we could have one thing built and then send it out, would we get higher usage for that if a Nearpod was available?
So you're asking for specific topics?
Are there topics? Would instruction on public speaking be a benefit? Or, what is something that we could have as a higher priority, that a topic base that we could have one created and send it out so that it's easier for folks, so that we would gain more usage or knowledge about Nearpod to begin with.
What comes straight to my head is probably talking with Shelby Bronner and seeing if there's any counties who need health rocks or healthy habits lessons uploaded to make sure those grant numbers are met before the end of the grant cycle. That's what first comes to mind.
That
Trudy,
would be good.
As
Oh,
much
go ahead.
as
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine, Anna. As much as I would say public speaking would be a great one, I think it's probably too late at this point. For us, it is, because we teach our lesson in November and they give their speeches in January. So I would think that other spring stuff, I mean, even a demonstration, an interactive exhibit. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I'm the only one on here from the Eastern region. So Clover Bowl is big in the Eastern region. I don't know about if any of y'all do it. But I mean, any of those, we could take those and just play. I really think, going back to your question about how do we start, how do we get people on board, I think we need to create a few, send them out and say, hey, here they are. We've done the work for you on this. Now, you can do the work on your own. And I think the people at the training the other day were really psyched about it. I know I was. But I think it's just a matter of getting other people on board and seeing what they can do, because there are so many platforms out there right now that people are using. But this really kind of pulls multiple platforms together where you can do the slides. You can use it for, the slides are already done. You just pull everything together and put music and animations in with it and stuff. I just think it's great.
Yep. And I didn't get us a Nearpod going today so we could all type it in, but I'm watching the chat. So is this going to be one of the like the resources or templates subcommittee, Lynn, that you're chairing? Do you think that that's something that goes in y'all's kind of ballpark?
Absolutely. I think we need to get started on a template. So it's just Anna and me as of right now that are on the committee. Because Anna and I can work together. We can put some stuff together, kind of bounce it back and forth, just to come up with the template to begin with. And then from there, we can really start getting some of them done. I agree with Chick Chain, Anna, because we start doing Chick Chain in January. I don't know that we can get it done that quickly. We may be able to. But we start back clubs on January the 6th. So, but yeah, that would be great.
Awesome.
Trudy, tell me what you want us to do. We can go ahead and we can start working on the template.
I think that'd be good. And if you guys could come up with one, and then, and now, so Anna, you have created the Nearpods before, correct? You've sent them out. I've seen that. So that's good. Jennifer has. I'm wondering about assigning Jennifer to that committee as well. Would that be a help or not?
I think so.
That'll be a help. Yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of mass producing them right now. She's got a graduate class that she's creating using Nearpod, the whole class, and it's all asynchronous. So I'm really impressed. Actually, I might sign up for that class. We'll see. So yes, why don't we do that? Could y'all, and then when are you starting Chick Chain? Is that, you said January?
We start promoting January. When we first go back into clubs, even if we had like a 2-minute little snippet to show, I think that would be doable. I think it would be easy, and it would be something that, hey, other agents, we could send that out to them and say, hey guys, you know what? I know it's the beginning of the month, but here you go.
Right. And the other thing that I kind of had on my mind for using it for Chick Chain was last year when I did Chick Chain, I had a email education series that went out to my kids, like that was developmentally appropriate for their chicks. So it was like ever so often along their chick's development, they got an email that told them like, hey, you need to be adjusting their feed or their light or their temperature or whatever, you know, and kind of letting them know, like, if you see them molting, that is normal, like, don't freak out, like, you know, those kind of things. So if we had like a Nearpod that you could use, even if you had your kids, just send it to your kids to go through on their own during that time between when they register and they're waiting on their chicks to arrive, that help them to be educated and like prepare for their chicks to arrive, like what all they need to go buy, how to set up their coop, all that stuff. I think those kind of things would be really helpful to agents too, because that's just a lot of education that we have to do about one of the animals we deal with.
Now, Amanda, isn't that the one that you started us out with on the 6-pack? Was that chick chain related or just mostly poultry related?
It was just a poultry related with a few like STEM activities built into it.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know if it was applicable or not. Love the camp promo. Great idea. Camp orientation. And have actually had the camps have asked to be added, and they did come to the training. So that's pretty neat. Hopefully they'll be able to do some of that for their workers and things. And I apologize. We have major plumbing things going on at my house right now. So, major. So anyway, so we might get some drilling and yeah. Okay. All right. So Lynn and Anna and Jen, y'all want to set up separately a time to meet and try to come up with one, maybe two that we could use mid-January or so? When's a good deadline for that or a timeline?
I'd say mid-January would be doable.
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right. So maybe committee can meet again, or what do you guys think if we if y'all come up with one and send it out so that we could kind of be testers and give feedback on that?
Yeah, I like it.
Because then that would get the rest of us involved in using and being, because from what I'm seeing, we don't have enough students to test it. So we kind of need to be our own students, right? Okay. The next topic that I had on here is indicia or title slide. And I created one for Backyard STEM over the weekend. And I'm trying to find it real quick. If I can bring that up and just kind of get your opinion on it. It's not wanting to let me close out of this. Trying to find it, y'all. I had it. I'm sorry. Oh, here it is. Yay. Okay. Thoughts on this is a. So can y'all see that well enough? The page that I've got here. Oops. There we go. So this is at the end of the slide deck, kind of as a post page that would give the indicia. So I was playing around with a backyard stem for Dr. DeBrun, Footprints in the Forest. Very fun. And so, but we could do our clover. We could have a county name at the top. We could do county at the front. So do we need consistency in a type of a slide that gives the indicia, possibly author information, possibly county information, where it came from, and is this a possibility, or what edits and things do you have?
When I use the Slides Go templates, every one of them at the very end has a full credit slide that they ask you to keep in. So I like this, having that there. And then if we need to, you know, make changes or do anything, we know who created it originally. So I think it looks good.
I like this. My only concern with it being at the end, if if we have somebody sitting on or whatever, that we may not get to that last slide, or we may know that that's the end of our presentation and we may not, click to that last slide. I know I have a bad habit, even if it's just a thank you slide for joining. I have a bad habit not getting to that last slide. So I'm just curious if everybody else feels the same way at being at the very end.
I'd be perfectly fine with it being the second slide. I mean, putting contact information in there to begin with. Hey, who did this? And I mean, you could pop it up again at the end if you got to it. It wouldn't hurt anything to be in there twice, but at the same time, I mean, I think it would be beneficial to be early on, because y'all know as well as I do, by the time some of this is over, at the end of it, they're not even paying attention anyway.
I like Lynn's approach of second and last. I like that approach.
In this particular one, the second slide has the objectives. And I was just working through it with Lori Gallimore this afternoon because she tested it for me. So we were going to take out the materials needed, but I guess we could combine maybe. Would that be a thing, to have objectives listed on the second slide? What about the state standards? Where does that go? Because if we're going to meet state standards, do we have those listed here like Jennifer does in curriculum?
I mean, if we're doing something in the classroom, a lesson that can be used for there, yes, I would put standards on it. But I mean, if we're doing something like Chick Chain, that, it's an optional kind of thing, it's a above and beyond outside of the classroom for the most part. I mean, I would almost do your title slide, then the second slide having the indicia and the author information, the email, the address, phone number, contact information, and then move to your third slide and let that be the beginning really of your lesson, your outcome, your objectives, everything that you're shooting for.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
I agree with that. That makes logical sense.
So it would basically go kind of something like that.
Yes, that looks good to me.
Okay. In this case, I don't mind it being that way, keeping the pictures together, but yeah. Yep. And so this is something that we could have in the school library. How do we distribute a format like that? We just need a template. I guess that goes to the resources and templates group, right?
Yes.
I'll send you the slide and you guys
that would be great. If do you care to share that whole setup, Trudy, and then let Anna and me go in and play around with it, add some things, and that way, because you've got quite a few different components in there, like the quiz and the polls and stuff. And that way we could just that would give us something to play off of. I know she's done them before, but I like that you've got all kinds of different things in there, and then we can go back in. And I was in that training the other day.
Yeah, and I had a lot of fun, and I guess that's why I just felt like I could put anything in there. For content delivery, I did a My Simple Show. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's like Doodly, but free.
That's right.
So, but like I said, I met with Lori Gallimore today, and she's kind of concerned about doing fill in the blanks and matching pairs at the same time, some wording on some other things. So yeah. So it's good that she's looking at it, through that education lens to give some feedback on. Yep. So that's been pretty exciting, but I will share that with you, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can put it in the school library if you want, then you guys are welcome to pull that down.
That's fine.
Yay. Next, content approvals for school library. That's the topic. If it's going to go in the school library, does it need to have some sort of standards? How does it get there? Does it go through a committee of some sort? How do we do that?
Well, it would be like what we do in the curriculum reviews, where somebody, whether it's one person or 12, I mean, somebody needs to look it over, go through it with a fine tooth comb and a red pen and see what needs work on it. And I don't want to throw that to Jennifer to say, hey, she's the curriculum specialist, you know, let her oversee them at the end. But I would say anybody that's, and that may be something that we have to recruit people to this committee specifically for, you know, if they're good at Nearpod or if they've got the curriculum background, we could send those out before we publish them, just to kind of make sure they're appropriate and they've included everything they need to. Just my thought.
My worst fear is always having a presentation with a misspelling. So I'd hate for someone to share something I create and there's a minor misspelling that a reviewer could have caught.
I agree. That drives me nuts to get in there and find something wrong.
All right, so how we go about doing that? Specifically recruit for it? Do we know people that would be good to do that? Do we want to ask Jen again? Kind of is in her area.
I'd give her that option, but at the same time, if you're doing something like poultry, I mean, I know we don't specifically have a poultry specialist, but we could send them to some of the specialists as well and let them look over it for content. And then we could send it to others that are good at curriculum development. And even somebody that's got experience in Nearpod. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have a couple of different eyes. Y'all are like me. I don't like anything to go out of the office that's not perfect. And a lot of times, you know, you have to have 2 or 3 sets of eyes go over things before you print it or publish it.
Mm-hmm.
And Bridget, that's a great question. Are there graduate students out there willing to assist?
Hey.
I mean, that would be awesome.
I have a former 4-H'er from Benton County who is working towards her congressional award. And I told her once we got up and going, I might get. And I know that she is very thorough in that field. And so I would definitely recommend using those students who, you know, either the graduate students or students like her, who I would trust to make sure everything was on the up and up.
Yeah, I don't think the question is whether or not we need a review. It's just going to come down to who's going to be doing it and how long the process will take, what the process will be like. One thing I think might help the process along would be like on the back end, just we talked about best practices and having resource guides and things for agents when they submit these, and just having like a final checklist for them before they even send it to a review committee. Like, do you have this slide that has indicia and stuff on it? Do you have your objective slide? Like, do you have all those things in there before it even gets submitted? Just make sure we come up with something like that for them. That would help the process along a lot, I think.
That's awesome. I hate to say that goes in resources and templates, but
I
could it
figured.
go in training and support? If it's part of training and support, we could also pull that off. Maybe that's a whole committee thing.
Well, we might come up with a checklist and you train them and remind them to, and then the other group trains them and reminds them to use it, look it over. tells them they have it.
Right. Right.
Group effort.
There you go. That works out really well. So, and I am a graduate student in instructional design. So that's how I got to put instructional designer on the Nearpod. So something that Mr. Crow has let me be a part of through the end of the year. So we'll see if he extends that or not. I don't think so, but.
That is awesome though. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. Actually, what is this, year and a half now that I've been in the program. So started in the fall of 19, really excited about it. So.
That's awesome, Trudy.
Thank you. It's been a lifelong dream, and I found the instructional design and technology program 7-8 years ago, and it just didn't work. But that was why I targeted UT as a employer. It was my target employer to get my master's degree. So I've been in the 4-H department for 5 years. Just trying to see when I could get situated, have the job taken care of, and then start working on it. So it's been a real blessing. I've enjoyed it. So thank you. Communication of new content. What do y'all think about using the curriculum corner? Is it that?
I think that's good.
Do we have our own corner instead of curriculum corner? Do we have a Nearpod corner? How do we?
I think using curriculum corner, because it just kind of falls in along with that anyways. I think if we have too many corners, it might get confusing.
Yeah, I think otherwise it'll turn into a maze.
So, yeah, that does work out well. But we might be able to highlight new ones that are available in the school library to make sure that we can get those going. The last thing I had was committee assignments and tasks. And so I think, isn't Tawny Wittenberger on the committee as well?
She is.
And she was not assigned to training and support or resources and templates. So I'm not sure what
She would be good on template.
Okay.
I'll reach out to her if that's okay, Trudy, and I'll see if I can recruit her.
That'd be great. That would be great. And then we would be pretty balanced with 3 and 3 on each. So
Where's
next,
Andy? Which one is Andy on?
Andy's in training and support.
Okay. All right.
Training and support, I have Amanda as our chair, Andy and Bridget on there, and then added myself if I can be of any help. I can do either one. Or none or whatever. So, but next steps for committees. What's the last thing that I had?
Trudy, do you see us meeting weekly or bi-weekly moving forward? Just curious if we can set some hard dates on our calendar, and if we don't need them, we can always cancel them. It's just easier as we're getting ready to start planning 2021 if we had some set dates. Just my 2 cents.
I love it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I second that. I agree, Bridget.
Agree.
Definitely.
Okay. Do you think weekly or bi-weekly?
I'm thinking bi-weekly.
I think so too. And I think if we came back together, I mean, Anna and I will have a pretty big undertaking these next few weeks, and I'm going to be off until January the 4th. So what if we came back and we met that week and then we started every other week after that?
Is there any time that you guys think like that is kind of a quiet time, as Monday mornings or Friday or Tuesday afternoon or whatever? Is there a time that you think is quieter?
We're back to in-person clubs for now. I don't know how the first of the year is going to look, but anything in the afternoon works better for me because I've got clubs scattered throughout the month.
That afternoon is perfectly fine with me. We are not back in clubs, and I don't see us going back. We're actually all virtual right now because we are the #2 hotspot in the nation.
Oh
We
my
have-
gosh.
In the last 2 days, I think we have quadrupled numbers. We have over 1,200 active cases. So I'm perfectly fine being at the house and working and not being in contact with children.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
it does make it hard when, you work with kids and you can't see them.
And where are you, Lynn?
I'm in Bradley County. I'm in Cleveland, 30 minutes northeast of Chattanooga.
Wow.
I'm
That is
still on standby what my new year looks like in clubs. So right now there's still no visitors and they're trying to play catch up. So I'm just on standby.
Yeah, same.
so would Nearpods help to toss them in and they've done some 4-H? Do you get credit for that?
Yes.
All right. What's got to
This,
go?
sorry, this is way down the road as far as the Nearpod implementation. But we had a presentation at the national conference, and the 2 girls that did it were out of New Mexico. And what they had at their school, and the school did it, but they had lessons they would do every Friday, like the last hour of their Friday. And the kids who had participated all week, didn't have any like demerits or anything like that, got to participate in their 4-H activity. So that might be something we market later on down the road, but I just thought it was really cool because they had 4-H every single week, but the agent didn't do it.
And they did it remotely through Nearpod or a product like Nearpod?
They were in the classroom at that time, but now they are doing virtual. And what they did was the agents themselves got the teachers all the lessons, and the teachers led it. They picked what they did more like project areas, and certain teachers picked certain ones. And like it might be a math teacher doing a woodworking project group at school that last hour of the day. But what my thought is if we had this Nearpod library, we could promote something like that to our teachers and say, we have all of these standard based lessons, that might be incentive for a Friday 4-H thing where we don't do a full meeting, but they get that 1 hour of activity time, and it may not be every week like they've got, but they did have statistics and stuff where it showed that they improved their absentee rate. It dropped drastically because those kids got that incentive to participate.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. Okay, any afternoon, day of the week? What works better? Early in the week, late in the week?
I don't like Monday and Tuesday because those are my catch-up days.
Okay, how's everybody Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Every week is really just different for me. So you just let me know what works best for everybody and I'll figure it out. Every week looks different for me.
I'm the same way.
Okay, Amanda, Andy, do y'all have a preference on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
I think I'm going to be in that same position where every week is all over the place. So we'll just see what fits.
Okay,
My weeks vary too, so I'm pretty much set a time and
okay. So how are we doing on Wednesday? Right in the middle of the week, gives you half a week to go. Yes? Wednesday's
Good
at,
for me.
all right, at 4 p.m. Eastern? This time that we just did today, is that a good time for you? Do you want
Yes,
to write
that
it?
works.
Yeah?
That works. Yeah.
And so the first Wednesday on the week of the 4th is Wednesday the 6th. And then subcommittees. How are we doing on, do we feel pretty clear about what we're working on?
For ours, we're going to work on the template for just the Nearpod, anyone that's going to be done by Tennessee 4-H, anybody. We're going to try to include logos and indicia, and then we are going to work on the rubric.
Perfect. Amanda?
Well, we're going to start meeting and we are going to have to really work on, I liked what we brought up in the last meeting where we had kind of a beginner Nearpod training, intermediate and an advanced. And so that way it'll kind of cover all of the agents.
That'd be great. And then I have the, Jennifer has the recording of the training, but it's on her computer at work. So I'm waiting for that, and then I can get that training. Amanda, what are your thoughts on channel on invite?
That would be good. And we could keep it up to date with some of that stuff as well. And maybe that'll catch some of the people's attention who don't necessarily look at ideas all the time.
And then getting the word out. How do we increase usage? Is that a training and support thing? Can it be a training and support thing?
I think it could definitely be a training and support for the in-service hours, and then hit up the regional directors for sending it out and helping promote it.
So can training and support include marketing?
Yeah.
Maybe it could be like a lunch and learn session with agents just to say, hey, this is what's up.
I like that because then you're not hitting them with everything at one time.
So what do y'all think about trying to do a lunch and learn like that next week in January? And we could promote it ahead of time.
Would we be teaching, or would we bring somebody in from Nearpod, or would we be showing the video? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, what do you guys think?
I think that we showed that video, it would probably overwhelm some agents that have not used it, because even I was sitting there thinking, when we had the training, it would be more the basics of creating and doing and some of those. And so I think we might overwhelm if we show the video right off the bat.
So what about having them go through basic Nearpods, or to test or try out some of the Nearpods that have been done? Bridget, I saw you coming on.
I like that idea. Or I was thinking like, do maybe a monthly, beginning of the month, lunch and learn, and you learn 3 new how-tos with Nearpod, or 5 new tricks and tips. I know for people in my office, I've learned that if you break it down, instead of showing the whole features, if you break it down to 5 things that they could take away and start working on those 5 things, and then keep adding skills, they're more likely to use it instead of being overwhelmed. But I like all the ideas that have been tossed out.
What else do we have? Do we think that, Lynn, the first one that you guys are going to work on, maybe we could send that out at a lunch and learn, or have them test it?
We could do that. I think that would be fun. Anna, do you feel like, Chick Chain would be a good one for us to start with?
I think that would be a good one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think, and if we can get something put together, maybe by that first meeting when we come back together on January the 6th, we could all kind of look through it, even like I said, even if it's a short little clip,
Yeah.
that we could make sure that everybody has it or has access to it and has seen it, and then we can send it out from there. And that gives us, if we've got a make changes, additions, anything, that'd give us a week to do it.
Sounds good.
And I think the more that they get to play as a student, the more they'll see how it works and how fun and easy it is. I loved how Jen did our think tank last time, where she'd just pull up a poll and we'd put our things in. And so that would be really fun to do as well for a lunch and learn, just to have them use it. That's all I have today. Do you guys have what else is out there? And anything else? I'm sorry. Oh, good. Not me. Andy, what can you tell us?
Not much. I was hoping to see that video, so I wasn't able to make the training last week. So I'd really like to get a better sense of could you give me just like a little synopsis on what that training was like?
It was really high level. So she wanted to show start to finish the scope of Nearpod, if you will, but then she also showed some on the back end of management and that kind of thing. So I felt like it was very fast paced, very high level, and I'm wanting to do basics. How do I put a poll, right? and she was very lofty. What did you guys think? Is that accurate?
Yeah, it was very intense. I mean, to begin with, it was pretty easy, but I would not say that she was beginner minded at all. I mean, it was more along the lines of, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to show y'all how. I mean, she was a certified trainer in that, and there was a lot of information. But at the end of it, she did tell us that we could go on to the help site. And one of the things that we had talked about last time we met was that we needed to have like a user guide that we could show people that was step by step on how to do that. And they have all of that developed. So that is, it was a great thing, because just knowing that, we could access that, that's something I really feel like was beneficial. So that to me probably will help me more than the video showing how, Andy. But I mean, once you have the opportunity, go through and watch it. It's what was it, 2.5 hour session? I mean, it was long and involved, but it was good.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear there's a manual too that goes along with it.
There's a YouTube channel for Nearpod that has all kinds of lessons in there. So that seems like it would be really helpful. If you just wanted to know something quick, you can go over and watch one of the quick videos, but they do have the longer ones as well.
If you go, what Lynn was talking about, if you go to nearpod.com/help, it'll transfer you over to their page, and it's a how can we help, and you can search any topic, but then it starts with teaching with Nearpod, creating a video or lesson, managing your admin dashboard, integrating with other platforms.
Thank you.
And so if you click on it, if you click on it, it's got different topics, how to find videos, how students join. So it is very well broken down for us. So that may be where we can throw out 2 or 3 little tidbits at a time, like Bridget mentioned, and just instead of having to recreate all of it, we can throw that out there to them, and then maybe have them do an activity or try this or something to go with it.
Do you think that the Ideas newsletter would be a place to send that out, or how could we get them like a tidbit once a week or once a month? Or
I mean, I'd use every avenue we can. So it's not going to hurt to put it in Ideas and send emails out and get the regional directors on it. I mean, I think it's going to be beneficial to do multiple avenues, and then hopefully we can pull different people in every different way.
Correct me if I'm wrong, was it Loom where you could send a short snippet of information, like a pre-recorded video? That was
Yeah.
pretty cool for that day where Lori sent us a link to view before that training. That was kind of cool.
Yes.
I agree with Lynn. Every aspect that we could put it would be great. Teams.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. So I'm going to set us up for the 6th at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 Central. And I'm going to run all of it by Jen and see if she's got anything to add. She might have some more ideas and things.
Trudy, are you typing up notes from these meetings?
I have a bunch of notes that I've taken today, and yes, I will put those up. And then the last think tank video that we did, she said, and snip this and snip this. And so I haven't gotten that into Snagit to snip out the video yet, but I definitely am going to do that.
Are you going to have time this afternoon to where you could upload that video or the Nearpod that you were working on that we just viewed?
Yeah.
Okay. That'll be
sure
awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so I can put it in the school library for you, and then you can log into Nearpod and copy it down.
I'm already in. Perfect.
Okay, yeah, I'll set it up. Although the thing is, I keep making changes. So I change it in the Google slide and then save it back up to Nearpod and then do it again because I'm just having fun. So I just have to stop.
Well, I mean, it's a learning thing, and that's the only way we're going to learn is if we sit and play with it.
Exactly. So that'll be good. All right. Well, is there anything left this afternoon? I really appreciate you guys. And thanks for your patience with me while Jen is out.
I appreciate you doing this. I think it's great.
Thanks. Good. It's going to be fantastic. Y'all are awesome. Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas.
Yes. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Have a blessed holiday. All right. We'll see you on the 6th.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.